p.m. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the board, I'll entertain a motion to confirm the next meeting date of September 15th of 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the next meeting date of September 15th of 2021? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. At this time, we're going to move on to agenda item 4A, and that's the public hearing for 6 p.m. Billy's Lane and Tommy's Way roadway acceptance. Just going to entertain a motion to open the public hearing, gentlemen.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion on opening the public hearing? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Mr. Jeffrey Powell is a resident of Tommy's Way, and he's asked to be recused of this matter this evening because he is a resident there. So at this time, we've received information now from the contractor and their attorney that they're not ready at this time to go forward with any further information they can provide to the planning board and also to our engineer. So at this time, gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Billy's Lane and Tommy's Way roadway acceptance.
No, it ended backwards.
Well, it's,
Yeah, you wanna have,
excuse me,
Mr.
Mr.
Touch.
Mr. Touch, or Mr. Zajac, would you come forward, please? There's a microphone at the podium. And please identify yourself, name and address.
Yes, good evening, John Zajac, 490 Winthrop Street, Taunton, Massachusetts. Here on both projects, we were requesting a continuance with regard to Wellington. We do feel that there are a couple of items that we still need to address to the satisfaction of the town's design consultant. But we would like to proceed on Cedar to the fullest extent that we can. We know that there might be some limitations in Mr. Williams' absence this evening, but we do think that we're ready to proceed as far as we can on Cedar tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Wellington Acres.
So moved.
Motion has been made, there has been a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record state that Mr. Cavallo did not vote because he was a resident of the subdivision. So at this time, we're going to...
Well, I voted aye in this case, but I recused myself previously.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, just for the record, Mr. Cavallo is a resident of Cedar Estates.
I get those two confused all the time.
I know. So he cannot vote on the matter of the first hearing for Billy's Lane and Tommy's Way. But he can vote on the matter for Wellington Acres, which is the one that's being continued.
Okay. So gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for Cedar Estates.
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made, is there a second?
I second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Mr. Zajac, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. We have presented the as-built plans for Cedar Estates. We're seeking the roadway acceptance. We've tried to address any of the punch list items. My understanding is that they have been addressed. I know that we've been in regular contact with both the board as well as the board's consultant. I don't know if you've received feedback from Mr. Williams with regard to the punch list items or if there's anything else that the board considers to be outstanding, but we believe that we've addressed everything. I've provided, and I understand that it probably still needs to be reviewed by the town, the proposed roadway deed. We were proposing and would request that the board sign an amendment to the homeowners association so that we can add the solar light to that as being one of the other maintenance responsibility for the homeowners in addition to the stormwater management facilities. And other than that, we're prepared to resign and in working with the residents. They have advised me who the new trustees would be and what their offices and terms would be.
Thank you. I'd like to read a letter that we received, an email from Mr. Williams, and this is dated August 17th. This is, Kerry, unfortunately, I will not be able to make the meeting tomorrow evening. Also, I have not received information or performed subsequent inspections to confirm that the punch list items for Cedar Estates and Wellington Acres subdivisions have been completed. Let me know if you have any further questions. Regards, Peter J. Williams, Senior Project Manager, GCA, 144 Elm Street, Amesbury, Massachusetts. And I give you reached at 781-278-4821. Gentlemen, with your pleasure, I'd like to include the solar light that's been installed in that subdivision into our decision, so that way it's in with the homeowners association, and they will have the duties and responsibilities of repairing said light if it ever decides to go defunct. It's not within the confines of the Dayton Electric Light District. It's outside of that, of their purview, so and that's why it would be the homeowners association responsibility to take care of that.
We discussed that in the past, so I'm fine with it.
Joe, do you have any questions of Mr. Zajac?
Not right now.
Any of the members?
No. I have a question as a resident, and you guys would have.
Sure, well, I think we'll approach that. No further questions?
No.
Has the homeowners association been established?
The homeowners association was established in 2012. We are just seeking, because we have always been responsible for the maintenance, we, the developer, have been responsible for the maintenance of the stormwater management system to this point, we've effectively run the homeowners association by maintaining that system. It's the only, there were no common areas other than that for the subdivision. So the two responsibilities that the homeowners association would have would be the stormwater management facility and the one solar light at the intersection of Tommy's and Billy's.
Okay, and that'll be in a contract of some type, right?
Yes, it's been on record since 2012. We're just proposing an amendment that I did provide to the board showing a red line copy showing the amendments that would also address the solar light. And I think we just cleaned up something because there was an incorrect reference to the lot numbers that we corrected in it.
Thank you.
Joe, are there any further questions? Attorney Zajac? Gentlemen, we're going to entertain a motion to accept.
I think Jeff had a question.
Yeah, if I may,
Sure, I just want to let the record reflect that Mr. Cavallo has recused himself.
Jeff Kamalo, 2124 Tommy's Way. I'd like to address the question to John, if that's okay.
Sure.
So if we look at, I agree that you guys have succeeded in closing most of the punch list that's to have to be able to do the inspection. But I just have a question on number 3, stormwater drainage and, number 2, inspection and clean out of roadway storm drain system, including the catch basins and the underground infiltration system. Is there a schedule when that's going to happen? Because I didn't think that had already been done.
Hasn't been done yet.
Please identify yourself and your name.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the planning board, Brian Dunn with MBL Land Development and Permitting with offices at 5 Bristol Drive in Easton, Massachusetts. We're the engineers and surveyors of record for the subdivision and the as-built plans that you have in front of you. It is my understanding that once these other items are done, that are in the punch list for Wellington Estates as well as Cedar Estates, that both drainage systems will be cleaned out. I'm on board to inspect while they're cleaning the system out and verify that it has been cleaned out and then certify that a letter to the board, Mr. Chairman.
It'll be done simultaneously.
That would be my understanding.
I do have one follow-up question. So in addition to that, lot Cedar Estates, lot 16 has the underground infiltration system. Is that, part of the clean out, is that gonna be re-baseline or whatever, cut down, because it's all overgrown right now, I'm just curious if that's the plan.
It's actually not our lot anymore, it's been sold, so it's the people who own that lot are supposed to be maintaining that.
Okay, yeah, they had a question, so I told them I'd ask on their behalf. Okay, I'll relay that, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further questions of Attorney Zajac or Mr. Dunn? Gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to accept Cedar Estates
Oh, we have to wait for Peter's inspection.
final inspection, so we're going to make it continuous still at this point. Okay. So gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Cedar Estates until our next meeting is September 15th.
Yes.
September 15th.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries.
May I ask one question with regard to that? Is it effectively conditionally approved, subject to just Peter's review, and that's all we need to do is satisfy him? He advises you that we've done that and it's approved.
Correct, but we still have to make a formal vote by the board to accept the engineer's report.
Okay, very good. At that, when we come back for that, will you be able to sign the amended homeowners association as well? Because the original homeowners association was signed by the then sitting members of the board, so I wanted to make sure that that would also happen when we record it.
We'll have that off to our council, so she can provide that to Mrs. Easterday.
Yep, she has it. She has it.
We'll send it off to council, have it reviewed. Joe, there's been a motion and a second on the matter. Any further discussion? Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Mrs. Easterday will be in touch with you with any information she needs to provide going back and forth. And again, next meeting will be September 15th at 6 p.m.
Thank you all very much. We'll see you on the 15th.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 4B, and that is a public hearing time for 6 p.m. We just continued that.
That's better.
That was part of that. Gentlemen, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 4C, it's changed under agenda. We're going to here, so we got 4D. I'm going to take 4D out of order. I'm going to take a motion to take 4D out of order.
Make a motion to take 4D out of order.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. This is at agenda item 4D. This is review, discuss, and act on Joseph Figueredo, clerk, recusal request from Anton Roderick. This comes directly from our attorney. After careful review of the request, the conflict of interest law discussion with member Joseph Figueredo by the planning board's counsel, it has been determined that a mere difference of opinion or dispute on prior matters outside of planning board filings does not constitute a conflict. The records reflect that will be written into the record. Gentlemen, I'm going to accept a motion to accept the communication was just read into the record.
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to go back into order and take 4C. Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, that motion carries. Excuse me. Agenda item 4C is to review, discuss, and act on the Antone Robert Forme application, 0 Brook Street, map 16, lot 24. Gentlemen, we received this information last month, and I'm sure that everyone's had a good look at the plans that were submitted by Mr. Roberts' engineer. At this time, I'm going to open the floor up to Mr. Roberts' engineer. If you would please introduce yourself, sir, by your name and your address.
Of course, for the record, Niall Zager from Zenith Consulting Engineers with an address at 3 Main Street in Lakeville, Mass. The last time we were before you, there was some concern about whether or not the A&R could be, with the plan that was before you, could be approved under the A&R process. And I believe that it was sent to Town Council, and Town Council came back with an opinion that the designation on parcel had to be removed. There was verbiage on there that it was not a buildable lot at this time. I believe that the verbiage at this time had to be removed and just labeled as a non-buildable lot, a non-buildable lot. So we have provided that change to the board for your approval.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's gentlemen, sent you back, you should see a letter that came on from Eden Tallman. I'll read this. This was dated on Thursday, June 24th, received by our office manager, Kerry Easterday. It says, my position is that they need to take the at this time, in parentheses, language of the plan out. If they want to include that language, I would take the position that they need a subdivision. Interestingly, though, if they got the special permit first, the lot would be compliant, and they could do an A&R and avoid the designation on the lot. Confusing, I know, but I think that this is the most appropriate course to take here. So, gentlemen, as I say, I've had an opportunity to look this over again. The wording, the verbiage has been removed, asked of the applicant, and I was going to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the Antone Robert Forme application, 0 Brook Street, map 16, lot 24. Any further discussion on the topic? Gentlemen, any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robert, thank you very much for coming on again. We appreciate it.
Questions?
If there's any information, Mr. Wright, that you need, Mrs. Easterday, I'm sure you can go to the phone number and contact her. So,
Thank you.
thank
You
you.
guys need to sign it.
Yeah, we're gonna sign everything for you tonight. I do have, equipment right here, I believe.
4 names.
You need a special pen?
Get the special one.
The special pen.
Yeah, he likes it. He's getting lots.
So you might want to stay out of the sun.
I need nothing.
Tony, you might want to stay out of the sun a little bit, get a little better.
Sunscreen.
One more. You're going to,
Mine too?
Oh, that's the registry. Even with everything going on, registry's pretty easy to do. Just curious.
I like your chin hammock, it's very nice. Your chin hammock. Chin hammock.
hold them in. I know.
You're out, maybe people all day.
If you're running, okay.
Only 3?
Yes.
Yes.
You can only sign once, Woody. Per sheet.
One per sheet.
Members of the board, we'll move on to agenda item 4E, and that's the informal discussion on Hunters Hill with Lee Castagnetti of One Built Homes. Sir, if you just please identify yourself, your name and address.
It's Evan Watson with W Engineering, with an office at 27 Jefferson Street, Taunton. With me is
I'm Lee Castagnetti with One Built Homes, New Bedford.
Sir, you have the floor. The floor is yours.
I can wait like that. Good evening, again, Evan Watson here. One Built Homes is an interested party in the old Hunters Hill subdivision, and we're in the process of bringing it back to life. So part of that is we're going to conservation to basically re-permit our order of conditions, which has expired. So one of the requirements they asked us to do is to reflag the wetlands. So we've done so. We've reflagged the wetlands. Lighthouse Land Surveyor's gone out and located the wetlands, and we put them on the plan, and we see that some of the areas that were disturbed on the initial construction of the site have actually kind of cut in and grown up to be wetland resource areas now. So we have a planning board permit for 140 lots, but now we have our wetlands crept in and are knocking out a few of those lots. Now with this subdivision, this is kind of a unique case where normally on a conservation subdivision, you'd find what your minimum open space would be, and you would provide that amount of open space. But for this particular subdivision, we have a vast excess. We have in excess of 200 acres of open space for this project. So what we're coming in to discuss is we would like to transfer the lots that were impacted by wetlands. And it's not to say that they're fully occupied by wetlands, but it may block the access to the lot, or it's within the buffer zone, and put that into the open space with exchange of taking some of the open space out and putting it into the subdivision parcel. So the figure that I've drawn up here, the light green all around is the open space that we've have permitted. The lighter blue areas are the areas that were permitted to be the development parcel. And the dark green lots that I filled in were the lots that were impacted by the wetland resources that we just delineated. It ends up being about, I think it was 15 or so lots, I think. Well, it was about 18 lots impacted by the subdivision, but then when we bring the road through, it ends up cutting off the cul-de-sac at the end. So it's an additional 3, so it's a total of 21 lots. So, and one more thing to mention too, with the geometry of this subdivision, you can see it kind of makes this big hook. That's because there was a piece of property in between that was owned by the town of Dayton. So we weren't able to go through there when this was originally designed. So since then, the owner of the property has purchased that piece of property, and now we have the ability actually to connect the two lobes of the project. So I did a little summary up on the side. So we are approved for 140 lots. We're proposing 140 lots. We're increasing the total area of the project by about 3 acres. We actually are decreasing the amount of subdivision parcel by about 3 acres. Increasing the open space, what we got here, about 8 acres. The required open space actually went down because our subdivision parcel got smaller. And so we still have a surplus of open space of over 200 acres. So we didn't want to move forward in going through the exercise of doing all the design for the new road, the lots and all that type of thing, and file an amendment without coming to you as first and seeing what the appetite for something like this would be. We think it makes a lot of sense. Again, maintaining the same number of lots that were approved, and it has a net increase in the amount of open space and a net decrease in the actual developed area. If anyone has any questions, I'm certainly able to answer them. And what we're looking for tonight, obviously, isn't a vote. We're not, we didn't file any permits, but I don't know if we could take some kind of straw poll or leave here with kind of an understanding, like, this would be something that we could entertain, or, we didn't know if, no, we would not modify this permit at all, and we'd only go with the original permit. So we just wanted to bring it up ahead of time.
Just for clarification, you mentioned that there was a purchase of town property. Is that the added land? Is that what that is?
Yes. Okay. So there is extra land, but that would be the area that we would be adding into this parcel, into this permit.
And so then what you've done is, the dark blue is, so initially, I guess, I had to go back and look at it. So initially, that dark blue section wasn't there, so this did have just a shape originally.
Yes, the dark blue is new.
New, okay, to offset the other ones that aren't present. And the other plans, there was a community center and all this, where is that gonna be on this? Is that changing location as well, or is that staying where originally planned?
Exact same.
Let's stay as is.
Staying as is, okay, all right.
Hey, I'll point out to you that if you look at the area at the corner where those 3 lots are in green, and it opens up there, that's the area where the community center is going. And that's where we showed it to you when we previously met on the elimination of the golf course and the definition of the community features.
Okay.
So nothing
You
is.
still plan on doing all the other recreational stuff? The walking trail, the pickleball,
Totally consistent with what
bocce
you,
court, all that, guys?
totally consistent with what you approved in the more recent amendment, absolutely. No changes in that regard whatsoever.
And is that gonna be on parcels 8, 9, and 10? Is that what you're talking about? Those 3 in the corner there?
No. On the far right-hand side of the plan, of the lots, on the far right-hand side, where it turns from right to left, and there's open space on the right-hand
The
side.
green is being eliminated as lots and turning it into the blue.
No, I think Evan can point that out to you where the community center is going.
The open space would be right through here, and that's where we presented it last time.
Okay, so these lots here are gonna be,
Open space, the green lots.
Green would be transferred into the open space parcel.
okay, all right, that's my understanding.
And one of the things is, so, 2 of the things I want to point out, so of course, that Evan didn't mention, but the cul-de-sacs where those green lots are shown will be eliminated. So when we come forward with a new plan, we'll show those being eliminated. The roadway going through stays the exact same, but the cul-de-sac roads are totally eliminated. And as a result of that becoming open space, we'll also be able to put a smaller trail system through there in that open space, because now you've got open space where the lots are being traded out. You got open space on all sides of that roadway system, so that internal area of open space can be accessible as some smaller, shorter walking trails.
Mr. Chairman, you wanna see the previous, I got it here, you wanna see it? Zoom in with the fingers, you wanna see it?
So,
Yeah, so this is what it used to be, so it didn't have this. So if you look in here, that connection's missing, and that's the open space.
that's the open space right in this corner. Right there.
It's gonna carry through.
Yeah, exactly. So all roadways are they're gonna be all interconnected now with no.
I was gonna say, this
Theory.
if you had this strip of land, it was owned by the town at the time they originally developed this parcel. If you had control of that parcel, this plan was screaming to be developed this way. The roadway circulation is about 1,000 times better this way than it was previously. Entire circulation throughout the development now, which you did not have
It's a lot
before.
more fluid.
It is way more fluid. So you're still, from the open space that had to be removed because of the conservation restrictions, you have not lost any home lots. You're still picking up the same amount as the transfer of open space.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, I just want to clear that.
Exact even trade-off.
And it's not a vote, but I honestly have no issues in all of this, that makes all the sense.
Yeah, no concerns there.
We'd have to look just to make sure that if, to see if this would possibly trigger a major site plan review. But, you know, make sure that, a major modification, so.
I would,
Yeah.
we're approaching it as a major modification. We would.
And then it's appropriate time to come back to us with a new set of plans, with
That's
drawings and such, so, I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
probably the improper verbiage on that,
Yeah.
so. Gentlemen,
But yeah, we're absolutely approaching this as if it would be a major modification.
I just want to state this, just my opinion, that everything that Long Built Homes has come forward to us with, okay, has been, you know, right on the money. And we haven't had to go back to ask them to change any of the details, everything that we've asked them to do, they've been more than willing to do for, you know, for the planning board, you know, for the town, and also for the residents of Hunters Hill. And that's the main thing. So we want to make sure that those residents are protected. And that's what we
Absolutely, and
can, so.
the residents, of course, they're thrilled at the notion that it would remain 140 lots, because they would very much like to have the costs spread out over as many lots as possible. So, you know, the fewer lots, if you lose them and you can't regain them through a methodology like this, all of their costs over time simply get spread out over fewer homes, so they go up. So, and plus you've got a sewer treatment facility coming, and they'll have to spend more money per home for that as well. So it's just trying to maintain the budgetary concerns, address them evenly as they were intended to be.
Is Long Built Homes still the company that's going to continue on with the project?
We sure are.
Right.
We sure are.
Because there's been some
I've heard.
waves going
Nothing.
around, so I just want to make sure.
No, we're in a lock, stock, and barrel.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask, what is our room possibly for next month? I know we're not gonna make a formal vote this evening, but just put it out there to the applicant.
Will they be ready for?
That's my question.
No, we'll take it,
Mostly in
yeah.
October, we would think. Give or take.
To continue to October? Well, we're gonna have to reapply, right? So it's,
Yeah.
so we would come in with a formal application, so I don't think we would have to continue this meeting being an
Right.
informal hearing, so. Yeah.
So my.
Yeah, our application will trigger the new timing process for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And as you know, on our website, I have my schedule, the meeting
Yeah.
schedule online, and with the deadlines and everything, so that will give you a general idea
Yeah, perfect.
of when you can meet with us for that.
Great.
Yeah, I think.
You know the process.
I think you know the general consensus right now in the planning board, so.
Terrific.
And we look forward to, you know, working with you, of course. And if there's anything that you need, feel free to reach out to our office manager, and she'll provide whatever you need for you.
Will do. You've always been very gracious that way.
And you
I
have my
appreciate
number
that.
also, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thanks very much.
Have a wonderful evening, gentlemen.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Gentlemen, I'm going to move on to agenda item 4F, and that is to review, discuss, and act on the James E. Cabral Chapter Land Right of First Refusal recommendation for 903 Tremont Street, map 8, lot 27. And this, we've just done this a couple months ago, so this is,
61A.
yeah, this is
Is
61.
that all the land that the solar farm is gonna be going on, is that the piece? Yeah?
It is, because Mrs. Racines is a separate application with a separate, set of circumstances, even though it's the same contract.
So if you look a little further down in the packet, that
the letter from the board of selectmen is already written, so it's all a draft letter.
What's that?
Page 64 of this packet has a letter from the board of selectmen saying that they acknowledge the request, and
That was drafted by the requester,
oh.
Yes, by the-
Oh.
and when they do it, they just
I
sign
wonder why
it.
there's a letter that, okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
where did this come from? This is a done deal, why are we voting on this?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I got it, all right.
So gentlemen, I entertain a motion to vote for a recommendation to send to the board of selectmen our right of first refusal for the James D. Cabral chapter land. Right of first refusal recommendation for 903 Tremont Street, map 8, lot 27.
Are you making a motion?
We're making a motion to make the recommendation, we are gonna make a recommendation of the board, so we need to vote to send it on to the board of selectmen.
You make a recommendation to waive
To
the
waive
right.
the right to buy.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded.
I see you looking at me, you're gonna say it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Get the next one.
Opposed, that motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna move on to agenda item 4G, and it's review, discuss, and act on Dayton Public Library site plan review, 949 Somerset Avenue, map 5, lot 31, and 979 Somerset Avenue, map 5, lot 32. As you read in your packet, the first of the two, I believe, is a
Placement of a couple modular units in the front.
4 spaces are proposed for this parking lot, that's why they have to come into us for they're requesting.
Only 4 parking spaces?
That's in the first one, and the second one, I believe there is 6 to 8.
How many handicap? 68?
That I don't know, it should be a, formula of the total amount. So these are pretty clear cut, right, we've done these before, we did one of these, I wanna say, before the pandemic, and it was for the playground, proposed parking lot down off of, Main Street.
This is two things, oh,
Yeah, it's 2 separate.
So just to clarify for you, there's 2 applications because it's on 2 different lots. If you take a look at the picture, the modular is on the lot next door to Town Hall where the house was taken down. It was the lot that was purchased by the town, and then the house was taken down. So that's where the modular and 6 to 8 parking spaces are gonna be. And then the second application is for 4 parking spaces on the town hall lot, right off to the side where, by the stone wall. So that's why there's 2 different applications, because you have 2 different lots that they're utilizing for the modular library. Excuse me.
So when you pull in the town hall,
Yeah.
where the X is, they're gonna cut in 4 spots there.
So there's a driveway here, they took this house down.
Yep.
There's a driveway here that will have parking space for the modular.
Correct.
And then they made,
Like a throughway, so there'll be an additional 4 behind.
there's like a stone wall here.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll go here, and then there's some parking here made, additional parking. Right in there, for the library.
The town library.
That's right, James, the town hall.
How long are they expecting that to be there?
it's a good place for it.
agenda, I'm going to entertain a motion, I'm going to move together, to accept the Dayton Public Library site plan review, 949 Somerset Avenue, map 5, lot 31, and 979 Somerset Avenue, map 5, lot 32.
So moved.
Motion has been made, is there a second? And second, any further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, let's vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Gentlemen, your packet this evening, we're going to go down to agenda item 4H. Is the public hearing, continued Forest Hills Estates Special Conservation Subdivision, 0 Forest Street, map 3, lot 28, 33 and 78. At this time, I'd like to read a communication that was received by our office manager, Mrs. Easterday, on Wednesday, August 18th, at 3:53 p.m. Kerry and Jay, appreciate you taking a few minutes to connect on this. And speaking with Outback Engineering and both of you, I think it is prudent to request a continuance of this matter to the planning board's next scheduled meeting on Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. Thank you for both and the board for your time and attention to this matter. Best, Joshua W. Glass, Apex Companies, 100 Main Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Telephone number 401-729-7219. So gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Forest Hills Estate Special Permit Conservation Subdivision, 0 Forest Street, map 3, lot 28, 33, and 78.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And second. Any further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to agenda item 4I, and that's review, discuss, and act on the surplus equipment disposal. One is one Kyocera KM-4050 copier. The other is a One Brother MFC-J6710DW multifunction printer, and one metal printer stand/cabinet. This is a request of the office manager. We did receive a new printer in the other day, and we are downsizing and getting rid of some of our old equipment that will be disposed for public auction at a date to be determined by the town of Dayton. I'm going to entertain a motion that the office manager has permission of the board to dispose of such equipment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 4, number 5, and is to approve the meeting minutes of July 21st, 2021.
So moved.
Motion been made. Is there a
Second.
And seconded. Any further discussion?
Pausing for comment.
Hearing none.
That's your job, bro.
Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Mrs. Easterday, any correspondence for this month?
None at this time.
Gentlemen, I'm going to move on to public inputs. There's a few issues that I, as the chairman, want to address under public inputs. You're going to receive shortly from our office manager packets in regards to the ethics test, and that needs to be done by November. In regards to the open meeting law, if 3 or more members of said committee, which is 3 or 5, which is a, what was the word I'm looking for? A quorum, excuse me, that, it's called a deliberation. So that's why I just sent an email reminder out to members that, it's fine with 1 or 2 if you want to talk between each other about a subject matter, but I will never chime in because then you're going to have the possibility of a quorum and, something that could trigger a open meeting law violation, and we don't want that to happen. So we just want to make sure that, our board stays above board, as they say. The second issue I want to talk about this evening, I'm looking directly to the camera, is that the planning board controls any meetings that are under our purview. Our office manager lists any dates and time when those meetings are set to take place. If there is anyone in the general public within 48 hours of the meeting feels that the meeting may possibly not take place, please contact our office manager and she will alert you as such. We do not need members of the Board of Selectmen or elected officials butting their noses into planning board business, okay? We take care of what we take care of, they're elected as well as we are. We will make the communications to any residents who need to be notified that there is a meeting that will not take place at a certain date or time. So, with that being said, I'm gonna open up to anyone else on the board for public input.
I have nothing at this time.
If not, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion has been made, second. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Thank you as always, Dable, and good night, Diane.